after the event. So we're recording now. We're going to start today with some welcome remarks from Linda Adler-Kastner, Associate Vice Chancellor of Teaching and Learning. So I'll turn it over to you, Linda. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Brett. And thank you everybody for being here. I'm very excited to see everyone at this virtual town hall on the transition to Canvas. As Brett said, I'm Linda Adler-Kastner. I'm the Associate Vice Chancellor for Teaching and Learning, a Professor of Writing Studies, and the Faculty Director for the Center for Innovative Teaching, Research, and Learning, and a Canvas user. So this town hall is the first of 3 that the Canvas transition team will offer this academic year. There'll be one per quarter. This is the fall seminar. There'll be one in winter, and there'll be one in spring. Today's town hall is going to provide a high-level overview of the transition, detail some of the feedback we've received on using Canvas from instructors and students in pilots, highlight some notable Canvas features, and outline the many support resources that are available to support instructors, TAs, and students during the transition. So nobody will move to Canvas alone. That's a key takeaway. In future town halls, we're going to hear testimonials from UCSB instructors who have used Canvas and dive deeper into Canvas features that can help to support your excellent teaching. At the end of the town hall, we'll have an open question and answer period. You can submit your questions anytime during this webinar using the Q&A feature. And now I'm going to pass it back to Brett Brinkman, who will provide an overview of the Canvas transition timeline and details.
All right, thank you. I'm Brett Brinkman. I'm the Director of Instructional Technology Services in Letters and Science IT, and I'm part of the Canvas implementation team. So first, I want to give you an overview of what is happening with the transition from GapshowSpace to Canvas. So we are moving from GapshowSpace to Canvas. All courses in the learning management system will eventually be taught in Canvas. The core software of GapshowSpace is open source software Moodle, which is hosted on campus on our servers. And we're moving from Moodle GapshowSpace to Canvas, which is software as a service offered by the company Instructure, which hosts the software in Amazon Web Services. Most of the common features of Moodle or GapshowSpace are going to be available in Canvas. So the most common things that instructors do, including posting resources, communicating with students, quizzes and assignments, are going to be available in Canvas. Other instructional applications that are linked to GapshowSpace are also going to be linked to Canvas, and most of them are already there now. That includes things like Zoom, GapshowCast, iClicker, Eli Review, and many others. And the entire migration is to be completed by fall 2023, when all courses using an LMS will be taught in Canvas, and GapshowSpace will be decommissioned by the end of fall 2023. So I want to talk about why we are doing this now. So for one thing, we are on Moodle 3 for GapshowSpace, and Moodle 3 is reaching the end of life in November of 2023. In order to stay on Moodle, we would have to update to Moodle 4. Moodle 4 is a radical redesign of Moodle in terms of the user interface experience. So we recognize this as a moment to think about the effort that was going to have to go into retraining faculty and evaluate whether it was time to move to a new LMS. Second, the California Budget Act of 2021 specifically included funding for a common LMS for the UCs, CSUs, and the CCs. So the governor's initiative actually included funding that would go to the UC to coordinate the transition to a common LMS. All the other campuses had already transitioned to Canvas, and we're actually the last other than UCSF to be moving to Canvas. So with those two things in the background, the Next Generation Learning Management System Committee was formed in June 2021. It met twice in the academic year of 2021-2022 to look at the pros and cons of either staying on Moodle or moving to Canvas as a future platform for the LMS. So the LMS committee, the Next Gen LMS committee, looked at several different factors while evaluating this decision. This included the relative benefits of supporting teaching and learning between the two platforms, the completeness of the two platforms in terms of delivering instruction in comparison with UCSB's current capabilities, the workload that would be involved in migrating to a new platform, long-term support costs associated with each platform, and the ability of each platform to effectively integrate with current and emerging third-party technology tools. So the Next Generation Learning Management System Committee delivered their report in March 2022, and it recommended that we sunset Moodle, GauchoSpace, and adopt the Canvas LMS platform. The full report is available on our website at https://canvas.ucsb.edu/transition. So I want to talk a little bit more about why specifically Canvas for this transition. So as I mentioned, all the other UCs had already migrated to Canvas, and this is something that students are very familiar with, both from using it in the city colleges for transfer students, and also in many high schools are using Canvas now as well. Canvas has a modern design and an easy-to-use interface, and it has robust mobile applications. It also has more robust integration with other tools, being the leading platform for higher ed learning management systems. Third-party providers are actually building for Canvas. It's better suited to current and future needs. Canvas servers are resilient, reliable, and scalable. It's entirely hosted off of UCSB campus, and so we don't have any dependencies on our own campus in terms of hosting the learning management system, and it scales up to demand. So we can do more high-stakes testing with large classes, for example. Canvas also includes better data for learning analytics. It follows modern standards in terms of consuming data to evaluate how students are interacting with learning materials and how that's helping them succeed in the classroom. Canvas also provides 24/7 help, so we can actually have support on the weekend or at night if instructors are trying to do something or a student is having a problem submitting an assignment. I want to talk now about the actual migration and the archiving plans for GauchoSpace. So one thing that we're going to be doing is we're actually automatically migrating 2 years of academic courses from GauchoSpace to Canvas. So the courses that fall between summer 2021 and spring 2023, the end of this academic year, all courses that are taught in GauchoSpace will automatically be moved to Canvas. So we're doing that in 2 waves. The first wave we're doing this quarter, and that's the summer 2021 to summer 2022 courses. Those will be available prior to winter 2022 for use of those materials in Canvas. If anyone wants to teach in Canvas in winter or spring quarter, we're moving the first year of courses now so that you can actually use those materials to teach in those classes. We're also going to have a request process for older course sites to be migrated. If an instructor knows that they're going to be teaching an older course that was taught in GauchoSpace in an upcoming year, we can actually migrate that course with the same process. Additionally, we're standing up an archive of past GauchoSpace courses that will allow us to directly pull materials from old courses into Canvas. And that'll be up before we decommission GauchoSpace. So old course sites will still be available to be brought into Canvas. And that'll be something that will be available by request. Instructors can request us to move an older course site into Canvas, and any of those older courses will also be available. In future town halls, we'll highlight more details about the archive. I also wanted to mention project site support and migration plans. So project sites are non-registrar sites used for academic programs, placement, collaboration, or student services. We are continuing support for these in Canvas. We're going to be coordinating outreach to some of the major project site stakeholders to discuss migration support and making sure that everyone is ready to go and moving to Canvas. And we'll have a migration process in place, which is actually available now. There's a form on our website that you can request the migration of any project sites directly into Canvas, or we can help people build new project sites there as well. So I want to talk now about the Canvas timeline. So a few things that we'll be highlighting here in this timeline. So winter 2022, we completed the Canvas environment configurations. In spring, we had a pilot in Canvas with 3 courses. Summer, we expanded that pilot to 14 courses. And then this fall, we opened Canvas up to early adopters, and we have 192 courses in Canvas. There are over 10,000 users of Canvas at UCSB today. During fall, we're also going to be doing outreach sessions, including this town hall. We're doing department chair meetings. We'll be going to some faculty meetings, and we'll be trying to answer any questions about the migration that we can, that any instructors or students have. For winter, We'll have migrated courses available for teaching the first year of courses. And winter and spring quarter, instructors can choose whether they wish to teach in Canvas or Gaucho Space. So they'll be able to decide either platform. Spring 2023 is the final quarter of general Gaucho Space availability. So that's the final quarter in which instructors can decide which platform to choose. In summer 2023, we will have all courses taught in Canvas unless exceptions are granted. In particular, we know that Summer Online has built some very robust courses, and we want to make sure that any courses that need another summer or another academic year to get moved over to Canvas, they can have an exception, but otherwise all courses during the summer will be in Canvas. And then in fall 2023, all courses will be taught in Canvas. There will be no exceptions, and we will be decommissioning Gaucho Space. So I want to highlight some of the upcoming transition activities, which include quarterly campus town halls. As Linda mentioned, this is the first of the 3 this academic year that we'll be doing. We have fall 2022 meetings with department chairs. So outreach was sent to each department chair to offer an optional 30-minute information session or to join in any faculty meetings. We are also going to be offering department-specific training. So any department that wishes to have a coordinated training for the instructors or for TAs or for both, we can coordinate that with the departments. We'll be providing regular updates for the Academic Senate, CLIR and CIT subcommittees, as well as on our website, the Canvas Transition website, where we frequently update any FAQs that arise. So just a reminder, I see some questions are coming in now, but please do remember, submit your questions at any time. At the end, we will go through reading and answering as many questions as we can. So please submit those during the presentation. I will now turn it over to Gus Wood, who's going to talk about our pilots and some of the feedback we've gotten from our early adopters.
All right, thanks, Brett. So my name is Gus Wood. I work primarily in the LMS in the capacity of helping instructors and TAs use the platform for their teaching goals, usually of the form of consultations, email help tickets, and documentation. So today, to start, I'm just going to talk a little bit about our pilots of Canvas and some of the feedback we got it, and then also some of the notable features and benefits we've seen with Canvas. So we started our pilot in spring 2022. We reached out to a handful of instructors and got 3 courses up and running for fall or spring 2022. Following that, we expanded the pilot and solicited some more instructors and got a total of 14 courses for the summer of 2022, including a couple fully online courses taught in Canvas. And then for fall 2022, we open it up to a fully opt-in option for any instructor interested in using Canvas. Up until the first week of September, we were taking anyone interested could opt in for fall. So we ended up with a total of 192 courses in Canvas for fall 2022. And some of the instructor feedback we've gotten, largely positive, mostly around efficiency. Instructors are able to find and do their workflow of teaching within Canvas much more efficiently than they've seen in Gaucho Space. Also the interface, that's one of the big feedback pieces we've heard, is that the interface is a lot more intuitive and just easy to use, even for people who are coming into Canvas for the first time. And then on the student side, we've also gotten feedback generally around just how they're navigating the courses in Canvas. We've seen that students are able to find the materials they need, find different content that their instructor's uploading into their Canvas course relatively easily. And overall, they're enjoying the experience in Canvas. And some of the comments we've gotten from students, again, similar to the instructor feedback, the navigation is a lot more intuitive, a lot easier to understand. And just overall, the organization is just a little more what you would expect from a platform, and the platform is easy to get around to. Comparable to the student feedback, some of the critical student feedback we've gotten about Gaucho Space over the years, it's largely been about the user interface in Gaucho Space, it not being, user-friendly, essentially some comments that it's buggy, some indication that maybe instructors are less inclined to use it because of the interface. And then again, as Brett touched on, a lot of our students, either transfer students or students who've used Canvas in high school, have Canvas experience, and again, just have that preference for Canvas taking over instead of Gaucho Space. All right, so next I'll touch on some of the notable features about why we're getting this positive feedback and this preference for Canvas. So again, that the user interface we've heard and see that it's very intuitive, very easy to understand. In Gaucho Space, there was a lot of ways for instructors to personalize and change their courses, and oftentimes this can lead to student confusion, variability between their courses. In Canvas, there's some limited options. Really, only the homepage is customizable, and the rest of the course is very fixed. So students are going to have a very similar experience with their course sites, no matter what course they're taking in Canvas. So that consistent design piece is really a positive feedback we've heard from students taking courses. And similarly, in the modules page, which is really where the course content is housed, that's consistent through all courses in Canvas, and students are really able to easily find the course materials that they need to get access to. Another big positive on the student side is the calendar in Canvas. The calendar brings in all due dates for all the courses a student is taking and puts them in a calendar view. We found this is really helpful for students to make sure they're staying on track with their assignments, seeing what's upcoming, what due dates are, around the corner, and they're really able to stay on top of those due dates. On the instructor side, the calendar, has that same benefit. Instructors can really see, again, from a calendar view, how their course is paced, upcoming due dates, all those things. But there's also flexibility to add, not necessarily due dates, but things that, maybe you want to make your students aware of. If there's an event on campus and you want to make an event that appears on student calendars, you can do that. You can also create appointment slots. So if you want to have appointment slots for presentations or office hours, you can use the calendar for that, and students can sign up for those slots in the calendar. So yeah, really just an easy way for students to see in that calendar all the things they need for their class. Another, again, student benefit, largely student benefit, is the mobile app. Something we really didn't have with Gaucho Space was a great mobile option for students. We saw a lot of traffic, around midterms, just after finals, where students are trying to access Gaucho Space from a mobile device, largely around grades. And the mobile option for Gaucho Space really wasn't meeting that need. With Canvas, there's really built out options, different apps just for students, as well as an app for instructors to access Canvas. And we've really heard that students enjoy the app, students are on the app, both looking at their grades and just keeping apprised of what's going on in their courses. On the instructor side, there's some great communication pieces within the app, so you can communicate with your students from your mobile device. And there's also a grading feature within the app as well. Right, and then kind of moving to the instructor benefits, the speed grader interface. This is a universal grading interface within Canvas. So whether you're grading assignment that a student's upload to Canvas, or you're manually grading a quiz, maybe essay questions, or you're grading a discussion that your students are having in the Canvas course, all the grading is done in the same grading interface called Speed Grader. This is kind of converse to Gaucho Space, where depending on the assignment, you're presented with a different grading scheme, assignment by assignment type. That universality is really nice. You know exactly what you're going to see when it comes to grading, and that, you know, just makes that more efficient and just more easy to use overall. Also, there's built-in, you know, section division, so TAs are able to sort by their section when it comes to grading, so they're not, you know, sorting by students that aren't in their sections that they aren't responsible for. Again, another benefit here, the templating options within Canvas. So there are templates available, so you're not starting from square one. If you're teaching a new course and you don't have any materials and you're starting just from the beginning creating a course, you can bring in a templated Canvas course and then adjust that course to meet your needs and add your own materials. Similarly, there's a area called Canvas Commons, which is universal within Canvas as a whole. So any user within Canvas has access to it. And this is a place where instructors create materials and publish them for any Canvas user to use. So this could range from an instructional page of information, an assignment, all the way up to full templated courses that you can then bring in to your own academic course site and adjust and make use for your own academic course. So you really don't need to start, you know, from that square one, a blank slate. There's a lot of resources for you to pull into your course. And then kind of on that point, sharing content between instructors in Canvas is much easier than in Gaucho Space. In Gaucho Space, it was a bit clunky to share materials. You'd have to add an instructor to the course that you want to give them materials to, and they could then import those materials. In Canvas, you can share materials directly with another instructor. So if I have an assignment and I want to share that with another instructor in a different course, I can share it into their account, and then that instructor can then adopt it into their course site. So just that ease of sharing content is a real big plus for instructors. Another feature we've seen positive feedback on is what Canvas calls the rich content editor. This is essentially the text box editor that you'll see in any Canvas page when you're, you know, developing a description of an assignment, any content page where you as the instructor are adding information. It's got a wealth of different tools for formatting text, and then also some external integrations. So you can embed a YouTube video directly into that text box. You can also link videos you've uploaded to your Gaucho cast for the course directly into that box as well. And then Canvas is partnered with this group called Unsplash, which has literally thousands of pictures that you can then use and bring into your course. So you can search for a picture by topic, and then it'll, you know, show you many different options of pictures you can add into your course, again, just to break up the text that maybe you're putting on a page, and you don't have to go searching for a picture somewhere else. Canvas will provide you with a picture that you can use. And then some of the tools that you've probably used in Gaucho Space, some of the external tools that are linked into Gaucho Space, the same ones that we've contracted with and integrated in Gaucho Space, we have integrated and connected in Canvas. And in large part, these are actually better integrations, with Canvas being kind of the largest market share in the LMS world. Canvas is, and these third-party tools are focusing on better integrations with Canvas. So we're seeing just overall beneficial integrations and functionality with these third-party tools. All right, and with that, I'll kick it over to Samantha to touch on some of our, you know, support resources to help with the transition.
Yeah, hi, my name is Samantha, and I am here to talk to you about some of the Canvas support resources, both available today and available in the future. So the first kind of support that we wanted to highlight for you is the Canvas website. So this is canvas.ucsb.edu. This is not only where you can log into Canvas, students can log into Canvas with their UCSB Net ID and password, but there's also additional tabs, both detailing support opportunities as well as information on the transition. So the support tab will have links to RSVP to upcoming workshops. It'll have videos, guides, kind of a hub of all of the different things I'll walk through here today. And then the transition page will have frequently asked questions. It'll have that timeline, really up-to-date information. As we get more information, as we get more questions, we're trying to update that page so that we can share the most up-to-date information with the community. Another support for instructors, we have some campus-wide training opportunities. So we have 12 workshops that were scheduled through this calendar year. So from now until December, and we'll continue to add additional training workshops through spring, through summer, and through fall of next year and beyond. These workshops range in topics. So there's not only introductory topics, so introduction to Canvas, kind of going through navigation and the basics, but there are also detailed sessions narrowing in on specific features. So how to create quizzes and manage your question bank in Canvas, all about how to do grading and give feedback and create rubrics in Canvas. Lots of different sessions at different times, different dates, and we're continuing to add to this list, both in the next couple of months as well as in the future. All of these workshops and all additional workshops you can register for at canvas.ucsb/support. Scroll down to the bottom. It'll have all those dates and times, the topics, and links to RSVP to each session. So we encourage you to take a look and see if any work with your schedule. Brett mentioned this a little bit about one of the nice benefits of Canvas, but it's worth highlighting here is that there's 24/7 support provided by Instructure, phone support, chat support, and email. And this is not only for instructors and staff, but this is also for students. So if it's Saturday evening and you're working on your course site, you're running into an issue, you can get real-time, call in, you can chat in, or you can email with Canvas, get your question answered immediately, and move on to the next item. Similarly, students, it's 10:50 and their assignment is due at midnight and they're struggling to upload or they're having issues. Students can call into Canvas, they can chat in with Canvas and get their questions answered in real time too. So it's a really nice benefit of using a software as a service, is being able to tap into the support network via phone, chat, and email. And all of these are available once you're logged into Canvas. There's a help icon in the bottom left-hand corner, and it'll give you the phone number. It'll allow you to click a button and initiate the chat or send an email. Some additional support for instructors and staff and students is we do have on-demand videos. So we have recordings. If you can't make it to a workshop and you'd like to watch a video, we have not only basics training, kind of in and out of all the ins and outs of Canvas in 90 minutes. We also have topic-specific recordings, so things like gradebook, how to set up my gradebook, or how do I create an assignment, or how do I send a communication out to students. All of those on-demand videos are linked in the support of the canvas.ucsb website tab. We also will be recording all of the upcoming workshops and adding them to our video library collection. There's a wide range of Help Center documentation, both Canvas documentation, so documentation that is provided by Canvas for things that are universal to the platform, like how do I grant an extension for a specific student, or how do I update the due date? All of that documentation we have. And we also have the UCSB specific guides, how to, at the end of the term, how do I take my Canvas gradebook and upload final grades to eGrades? How do I use some of the UCSB specific external integration tools like GauchoCast or GradeScope? We are continuing to add to those documentations as well. And then finally, we also have one-on-one consultations available. If you're looking for one-on-one assistance to make your course in Canvas, if you're looking to replicate a workflow that you have in Gaucho Space currently, and you're looking for what's the best way to accommodate this in Canvas, we encourage you to reach out to us. We are happy to provide technical support, partnering with instructional development to also provide pedagogical assistance for folks who are looking to revamp their courses online. And so we've thrown quite a bit of information to you, and in just a moment, we'll hop over to the question and answer session, start answering the questions that you're putting into the chat here now. But we just wanted to end with, like what you may be asking, like, what do I need to do now? And really the answer to that, if you don't want to, is nothing, right? You can continue to teach in Gaucho Space through spring 2023. That is an option for you. And as Brett mentioned at the beginning, we are automatically migrating 2 years of courses from Gaucho Space to Canvas with the option to pull additional courses from the archive solution. But if you're really interested, you're wanting to get going sooner, you can. There are a few things that you might consider doing. So one is you could monitor the canvas.ucsb website for updates. Again, we're trying to update that as we get more information, as questions come into us. We're hoping to share that with you all as soon as possible. You could also consider logging into Canvas. So again, canvas.ucsb.edu. Once you log in, you should have access to a sandbox site. So this is a test site. It's a site that's just you. It's not connected to student enrollments, and it allows you to practice. You could, poke around. You could maybe try to upload a file, try to create an assignment and see what those different assignment settings are. That's an option. You could plan to attend an upcoming training and or reach out to us with any questions that you might have. And you could consider hosting one of your winter or spring courses in Canvas. So you can consider hosting one of them or all of them. If you're not ready to go on Canvas with your 360 student large enrollment class, maybe you want to try it out with your graduate seminar, or maybe you're developing a new course that you're teaching for the very first time. You could consider hosting one of those courses in Canvas in winter or spring. And so with that, if you have any questions, feel free to place those into the chat now. I am going to pass it back over to Brett, who will start us off with our first set of questions.
All right, thank you, Samantha. So we have here a question from Steve Gowan and a similar question from an anonymous attendee about Panopto or GauchoCast. So I'll throw this one to you, Gus, if you can answer. My course is flipped and I consequently have many lectures on Panopto. Will I still be able to link those lectures to my website?
Yes. So the integration with GauchoCast, Panopto, you'll have access to all the same courses that you've taught in Gaucho Space, those same course folders in Panopto. And then, that facilitation of moving those videos or copying those videos from one folder to another, you'll just be moving those into your course that falls under Canvas in Panopto. And they'll still link, the same content can be just moved over. It's really just the folder structure in Panopto. You're just going to have courses that fall under Canvas in Panopto. So no problem bringing those old videos into Canvas.
All right, thank you. And we have a question about the use of Gradescope. Samantha, let me throw this question to you from Deborah Feigenson. I have found Gradescope works very well. Will I have to switch to Canvas's speed grading tool?
So you won't need to. You'll be able to integrate Gradescope into your Canvas course. Your students will be able to upload their assignments directly to Gradescope. They can access it through their Canvas site, and you can do all of the grading in Gradescope and push grades from Gradescope to Canvas if you'd like to. So Gradescope is one of those integrations that are already integrated, one of those tools that are already integrated into Canvas, and you'll be able to use it and access it, push grades from it, similarly to how you can do in Gaucho Space currently.
All right, thank you. So we have a couple of questions about the availability of winter 2023 courses in Canvas. So the question is, when will instructors be able to build courses in winter 2023? I'll take this one. By November 16th, we'll enable the provisioning of courses in either Canvas or GauchoSpace. That's past to the registrar data when students actually start appearing in the data. So by that date, you'll be able to go log into GauchoSpace, and using the course site creator block in GauchoSpace, you'll be able to decide if you want to build the course in Canvas or in GauchoSpace for next quarter. And if any instructors need an additional sandbox site to start prepping materials for next quarter, please email help@collaborate.ucsb.edu, and we can definitely get you another sandbox site. All right, so we have plenty more questions here. So here's one I'll throw to Samantha. Do I have to teach all of my courses in Canvas in the winter, or can I choose to teach only one?
Yeah, so this is going to be, you can choose to teach once. You can teach one class in Canvas and one class in GauchoSpace in winter. You can choose to teach, one class in winter in Canvas and then go back to GauchoSpace. Course by course, quarter by quarter, you'll be able to decide, am I teaching this class in GauchoSpace or am I teaching this class in Canvas? So it's not an all or nothing. You can just choose to do one of your courses if you're not really ready to commit to all of them.
All right, so we have a question here. Gus, I'll have you answer this one from Deborah Williams, which is, what about the email function? How does it compare to GauchoSpace?
Yeah, very comparable. There's a feature in Canvas called Inbox. It's essentially the same thing as Peachmail, has the same granularity where you can email individual students, groups of students, the whole class. And then there's also the announcements feature in Canvas, which is used, primarily for whole class communication. And then you can also email specific sections, specific information. So we found the inbox feature is, very useful. It's a bit more built out, I would say, than Peachmail, but essentially has that same functionality of sorting by students in emailing and creating that correspondence.
All right, thanks, Gus. We have a question here from Deborah Feigenson. I have some lab courses in GauchoSpace that are in the one topic format and others that are in the tiles format. I strongly prefer these formats, especially because I often have students round robin through different activities. I haven't been able to figure out how to generate a comparable organization in Canvas. Is it possible? So I'll take this question, Deborah. I think the best thing to do would be to set up a time to individually meet with us, and we can look at some of the best options. So a one-on-one consultation would probably be the best route. There's not going to be the direct comparable formatting, but we can definitely find something that'll work well to meet your teaching needs and what you're trying to accomplish in your courses. All right, so we have here a question from Deborah Williams. I'll throw this to Samantha. Will the GauchoSpace question bank be automatically migrated? How does creating online tests and quizzes compare between Canvas and GauchoSpace?
Yeah, so yes, question banks in your current GauchoSpace courses in the last 2 years will migrate with your courses. So if your Phil 100 class has a question bank and with lots of different questions in that question bank, and you taught it within the last 2 years, it'll be automatically migrated in. That course will be connected to that question bank with the ability to see those questions and edit them within Canvas. Most question types from GauchoSpace will convert very cleanly to Canvas, things like true, false, multiple choice, essay, fill in the blank, the more common question types. There are a few question types in GauchoSpace. I'm thinking particularly of the embedded close questions that don't convert exactly over to Canvas in the exact same way. But if you use those question types, please reach out to us and we're happy to provide kind of options for the best ways for some of those question types and how to use them with similar structures in Canvas. The structure and the creating of the quizzes are very similar. You create the quiz, you add the questions, you can weight the questions, different point values. So I would say that experience is pretty similar between the two. Yeah.
Thank you. And we have a question here from an anonymous attendee. I'll throw this to Gus. I'm teaching a course in winter that I last taught in 2018. Will there be a way for me to copy the materials in that Gaucho Space course to Canvas?
Yeah, we have a way that you can generate a backup file of your course from Gaucho Space and use that file to restore into Canvas. Many of our instructors who've taught in the spring, summer, and this fall have used this method to bring in those materials. I would say it gets you most of the way there. There is still some, tweaking that'll need to be done once you bring that file into Canvas. All of the material will be there. But again, we're talking about two different systems, so just how that content is displayed has a little variance. So there's some adjusting that would need to be done when you bring that backup file in. But certainly all that material, assignments, quizzes, all those activities will be brought over. So you don't, need to do a laborious migration manually. And that documentation is in our help center as well.
Thank you. So again, we have the question, I'll answer this one. What does automatically migrating mean? This is from Steve Gowan. Will my course fly in Canvas without any work by me? That's a great question, Steve. We have some experience. I spent a year working with UCLA on their migration from Moodle to Canvas. They worked with the same vendor, K16, to do the migration. One of the nice things about the vendor is they can do a little better delivery than the backup restore method that Gus was talking about in terms of kind of aligning content. We're working with them now to iron out some of the custom things in our Moodle instance to make it work very well. What we're going to have after we've migrated the first round of courses, we will have some post-migration sessions where we can talk about some of the things that we recommend looking for and ways to get your course started as quickly as possible. Depending on the course, there will be some work that will be necessary, but we're hoping to do most of that effort so faculty don't have to entirely rebuild their courses. So there will be some cleanup necessary, but it should be pretty minimal in most cases. All right, so we have let's see, what else do we have here? How can I request an exemption to use Gaucho Space next summer? I'll answer that one as well. So we're gonna have an exemption process in place by the time we have course site build for summer setup. We'll be sending information to all the summer online instructors. I've already communicated with them about the process being available. But then any other instructors who wish to request an exemption for this coming summer, we'll have that process announced and in place for some information that we're trying to gather. We will definitely try to support people migrating, but we know there are going to be a few scenarios where instructors will need to remain during the summer on Gaucho Space. Okay, let's see. We have a question here. Sorry, I had to step out for a couple of minutes. Could you answer this question again? When can I build my winter course in Canvas? So by November 16th, which is past due, for the registrar data, when students start populating in the data, instructors will be able to, on the course site creator block in Gaucho Space, provision courses and decide whether to build them in Canvas or in Gaucho Space. So again, that's by November 16th. Few more questions. Samantha, you want to take a stab at this one? How will matching questions convert from Gaucho Space to Canvas?
Yeah, so they do. Matching is one of the question types that there is an equivalent in Canvas to Gaucho Space. So matching questions will convert cleanly. Then
I see just one more question in here. If there are any more questions, please submit them now. This is the final question that we have submitted. It's from Steve Gowan. How does Canvas manage high stakes testing for large courses? So in this case, Canvas will operate pretty similar to Moodle in terms of the quiz functionality being the main source of exams or testing. There are two different quizzes in Canvas. Currently, there's what's called classic quizzes, and then something called new quizzes that Canvas is migrating to. And one of the reasons Canvas is building the new quizzes engine is it's going to be a lot more robust in terms of scaling up for very, very large institutions trying to do synchronous testing. There's not going to be any other features in terms of managing the high stakes, lockdown kind of component built into Canvas itself. So it'll be pretty similar to the feature set that's in place with Moodle. However, the servers scale up automatically, being hosted in Amazon Web Services. You're not going to bring down Gaucho space by doing a large quiz, which actually was possible in the past. So there are no more open questions. If anyone has any other questions, please submit them now. We'll give folks a couple more minutes to send in any questions. And if there are any questions that you think of later, please send them to help@collaborate.ucsb.edu. We'll be happy to answer them. We'll update the FAQs on our website. Here we go. We have a question coming in from Steve Gowan. I have quizzes with error-specific prompts. Can I use those still? Gus, do you want to take a stab at that one?
Yeah, not error-specific prompts. I think it sounds like a scenario where we'd want to just chat with you and just maybe if we can get a sample set of those questions, we can do some conversion into Canvas and just make sure those are going to come over as cleanly as expected, or what workarounds we need to have in place for you. Definitely a consult situation. I think we'd be happy to work with you.
Yeah, and so far with our many early adopters, we're finding that between the functionality of classic quizzes and the new quizzes, most things that people are looking for, or one of the two of those is going to work best for them. And that's just one of the areas over the next year and a half, while Canvas is kind of themselves moving everyone into new quizzes, that we can work with individual faculty on what quiz engine will work best. But there's definitely ways you can kind of prompt students to kind of help them learn when they answer incorrectly. All right, any other questions, please submit them using the Q&A. This is the last call for this town hall. Again, there will be 2 more town halls where we can answer questions, and again, send questions to help@collaborate.ucsb.edu. Deborah Feigensen's asking, what will the student experience be like if some of their courses are on Gaucho space and some are on Canvas? This is a great question, Deborah. One of the things that we've done to kind of help mitigate the kind of awkwardness of using 2 different platforms is we've built a custom block in Moodle in Gaucho space, displaying any courses with links to those Canvas courses for students and instructors. So if a course is being taught in Canvas, there's actually a Canvas courses block that will appear in Gaucho space. So students can always this year go to Gaucho space and get to their courses on either platform. And both systems being integrated with SSO, it's a seamless login. So the student doesn't need to log in again to the separate platform. It'll take them directly to their course site. And so we haven't actually heard of any students having issues this quarter. And again, we have about 10,000 students in Canvas at this time. Okay, so we have a couple more questions coming in. This is great. Anonymous asks, how long will it take for newly enrolled students to be added to the course page? Still within 24 hours, as now with Gaucho space. Gus, would you like to answer this?
It's going to be a similar timeline. It's generally between 4 and 8 hours when they add the course in gold and when that sync comes into either Gaucho space or Canvas. That's about as good as we can get just with those different syncs of data that we get from the registrar system.
All right, so we have a question here from Deborah Williams. In a few years, will we all have to use new quizzes? If so, even if we have a small class, should we build our tests on new quizzes? Samantha, would you like to take this question?
Yeah, so I think it's worth having a conversation about the function and features, the functionality and features that you're looking for in your quizzes. There's some functionality that's not yet been built out for new quizzes that might lean you towards classic quizzes. But there are ways to migrate classic quizzes and classic quizzes question banks into new quizzes. So even if you build them out in classic quizzes and you have functionality that you need in classic quizzes, there'll be an easy way to convert those quizzes to new quizzes when the time comes. But conversely, if you look at the function set, the functionality set of new quizzes, and it has what you're looking for, there's no issues with using new quizzes from the get-go, particularly if you like the question types that there's some hotspot question types that aren't available in classic quizzes. Great question.
All right, so one more question here from Deborah Feigenson. Is the gradebook in Canvas structured similarly to the one in Gaucho Space? Does it support letter scales or only point scales? Samantha, you want to answer that one also?
Yeah, so there is a way to display and enter grades in Canvas as a letter scale. So you can define it. It could be performance-based, great, good, terrible, fail. And it can also be letter-based, A plus, B minus, C. But you will, as the instructor, need to determine kind of what does that A mean in the point scale. You can have it display as letter grades, you can enter as letter grades, but at some point you need to, for it to be able to calculate final grades correctly, as part of the setup process to create those letter grade scales or performance-based scales, there is a component where you're saying, an A plus equivalates to 97 and above. A B minus is within this range.
All right, thank you. And those are all of the questions that have been submitted. Again, if there are any other questions, please feel free to send them to us at help@collaborate.ucsb.edu, or please feel free to attend one of our upcoming town halls and ask the question then. So stay tuned for future announcements on those town halls, or we'll see you at faculty meetings. We'll be meeting with department chairs and other upcoming events about the Canvas transition. So thank you everyone for attending, and we are going to end the webinar now. So thank you for joining us today.